Today on Live with Lori, Congressman Bill Posey puts on his dancing shoes as he helps Lori prepare Pollo Marengo. Let's see how he keeps up with Lori's cooking directions now on Live with Lori.
Welcome back to Live with Lori. Today we're making Pollo Marengo with Congressman Bill Posey, and we're about to get messy. First thing we're going to do is take this chicken out. It's been seared on the bottom, fat side down, so we're just going to take this out and let it rest for a minute.
It's starting to smell good too.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And we're going to put some onion in, and we're going to caramelize it. And you know, my analogy of legislation is kind of like an onion, and you tell me if you agree or not. You know, you have a raw onion, and some people like raw onions. I don't particularly like raw onions, but you take it and you caramelize it, and it becomes something more than what it was. And it's kind of like legislation, that you come out with an idea and there's only a few people like it, and then you make it into something else to make it have a broader appeal. Do you agree with that?
There's definitely some similarities. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, since we're on legislation, what do you think that the most important piece of legislation that you voted on is?
That I voted on through City Council, State House, State Senate, and Congress. Mm-hmm. Probably recently the Balanced Budget Amendment.
We like that one.
Yeah.
We like that one. So do you think that's? I know it passed the House.
Yeah, but we didn't have the supermajority that was required.
Oh.
Which is unfortunate. We had a majority, but we lacked about 30 votes of having a supermajority. That would, if the Senate passed it and was signed by the President, they would require every state to put it on their ballot.
Right.
And if approved by 2/3 of the states, then it would become law.
Right, right, right. Well, what is the piece of legislation you're most proud of?
Individual legislation that I passed since I've been elected was probably a tie, I guess, for two. One is ABDA, the activity-based total accountability, which Alex said was the best legislation. The American Legislative Exchange Council, that is, the nation's largest bipartisan organization of state lawmakers, said it was the best legislation that came out of any capital in over a decade. It makes government account for what it does, not just how much it spends.
Oh, so what that says is that the government actually has to tell you why they're doing it?
They have to tell you what they accomplished with it. Okay. And they have to do it in one page. You know, lawmakers get tons and tons of audits and reports that nobody stole any money from the government but there's very, very few instances where the government actually can tell you how your money was spent and if it was well spent. And this activity-based total accountability does that. So it kind of ferrets out the fraud aspect. It could if it was used properly, right. If it was fully utilized. Yeah.
That's real important.
Well, one thing, and we could talk for hours about this, but you know, people say they want to run government like a business, and one reason you cannot run government like a business is because government doesn't have competition, and businesses do. You know, every state in the nation says we have the best Department of Transportation, we have the best Department of Corrections, we have the best Department of Commerce, and 49 of them aren't telling the truth. And they know it, but there's no way to tell it because there's no way to compare them. And what activity-based accountability, total accountability does, gives you a way to actually compare what governments do and see who's doing different functions most efficiently with taxpayers' resources. And that's why 49 other states have failed to pass it. It took me 8 years, so you know it's not going to be easy for anybody else.
Wow, that's quite an accomplishment. Yeah. Okay, well, since you got your hands dirty with that,
I'm ready.
Let me show you what I'm doing. I've been Xing these like this, and let me show you. You just take this and you peel it.
All right.
Just like that. The skin will just come right off. It's kind of neat.
Pretty cool. It really is.
You do this because you don't want the skin. It won't break down in this dish, and you could leave the skins on. But it probably wouldn't be good if you got a big mouthful of skin because the texture just isn't right.
Yeah, really.
It's kind of a neat thing.
Yeah, well, like taking a shell off an egg.
It's like taking a shell off an egg. You're absolutely right. Well, let me ask you, do you think something like that could go in Washington?
Yeah, it could. There's a variation of it that I've already proposed that any state, since no other state will pass it, I'm preparing legislation that says if you get federal money, you're going to have to do this. And
so that would be for all the federal programs.
Yeah, so any state that gets federal money would have to do it. And so then you could compare the cost of doing every function in every state and see who's building roads the least expensive, see who's feeding prisoners, housing prisoners most efficiently, see who's really providing the most bang for the buck in education and stuff like that. You know, see who's building new roads the least expensive or policing the roads the least expensive. Just any function that government does, and there's thousands of them, this would tell you how much it actually costs each time they do the function.
That's, I'm surprised that they're not doing that already.
Well, you know, actually, if you read that little book, and it's on my website, billposey.com, you can read the book there, free. It explains that most states actually have accounting systems set up to do anything but measure effectiveness of state government.
Now, why do you think that is?
Because they don't want the accountability. Nobody really seeks more accountability. And you know, government agencies don't want to have any more accountability than they have to have. And I can understand that. I don't blame them. I mean, who's going around looking for more accountability, you know?
Well, shouldn't the voters?
The voters are. I mean for themselves, you know. Very few people are looking for more accountability for themselves. Oh. But we want more accountability for the taxpayers. You said we were going to get a little
I told you you were going to get dirty. Here you go.
Thank you.
But we're not done, because we're going to have to chop this out.
Okay.
You know what? Why don't you give that a little stir right there? There's a wooden spoon right over there. And just give that a little stir. Doesn't that look nice?
And the smell is delicious. Onions cooking really smells really good. We're going to put some of this other stuff in here a little bit too, right?
We are. We've got to caramelize those onions up, make them nice and sweet. It'll add a lot of depth and flavor. When you're not using a whole lot of ingredients, you want to get the best out of them. And that includes caramelizing onions and getting the most flavor you can out of them.
Yeah, it's a neat story how you came up with this recipe. You probably ought to tell your listeners. They'd probably be interested in knowing that.
You know what? We'll talk about that story, and we'll talk some more to Bill when we come back.
Congressman Bill Posey sure knows his way around the kitchen. When we return, find out how Lori came up with her delicious recipe for Pollo Marengo. Don't move.